guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. Today I'm going to be sharing a homeschool plan with me. It's a little bit late. It is almost 12 on Monday, and it's actually Monday the 16th, not Monday the 23rd. So usually I will try and do my homeschool planning on Sundays. Yesterday we had some of Matt's family here, and so I did not do any planning at all, and honestly, I'm okay with it because, yeah, it's just been, it was a busy weekend and it is what it is. So today is actually Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we do have a little bit of a different schedule today, specifically because we spend a lot more time on the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and we don't do our normal stuff. My kids do still do their regular independent subjects. So I'm going to write down some of that stuff right now, and yes, but I can't talk and write at the same time, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit for you. So the way that I do this is I give Emma 2 columns now just because she has so many subjects, and that's okay. It is what it is. We do some things daily. So I will just put what they are expected to do daily over here, as well as if we are doing anything outside of the house, which I'm not sure that we will be this week or not. Last week we were not outside the house because it was our first week back from our long homeschool break, and so I try to stay at home until we're in a pretty good rhythm. With narration, Emma and Jack do written narration, Lucy does oral narration, and she doesn't do it every day, but I do put it every day because I do try to have a conversation with her every day about what we're reading, and especially if she is doing silent reading, then I do want her to come back and tell me what she has learned in her story or something about what she has read. I don't think that we're going to be going anywhere this week, partly because I think the weather is not going to be great. And partly because I do still want us to just be getting back into a good rhythm with homeschool. When we take a really long break, it just makes it a little more challenging to get back into the swing of things unless I am really focused on homeschooling. Now today, because I did not do planning yesterday, it has been a little bit of a cluster. The kids, Emma and Jack, are actually really quite good at getting their stuff done when they need to, but yeah, it threw me off a little bit. I should have done more this weekend, and yesterday when the kids went to youth group, I said to myself, you should sit down and plan out your school, but I only had 1 hour, and I only get that hour once in a while when all of my kids go to youth group, which is not, it's not a weekly thing. So when I have that hour, sometimes I just don't want to use it for productive time. I feel like I spend so much time trying to be productive constantly that once in a while I just don't want to be productive. And I think that that is probably a good thing. Yeah, I don't know. And this week is actually, I talked about this a little bit in my homeschool changes video, which I will leave a link for in the description box, but I'm hoping to we're doing a 6 weeks on, 1 week off schedule, but I also want to do 1 week of full 5 days of work, and then 1 week that has 4 full days of work, and then Friday is more project based. Emma and Jack will still have to do math. Everybody does reading every day regardless. Lucy's school will not look different on Fridays, but Emma and Jack need to mainly do their math and their English, and then Emma also has to do Spanish. And then the rest of the day, I want them to work on their passion projects. I want to make sure that I'm making space for that. It's one of my goals for 2023, create a home where learning is valued and passions are pursued. And so I need to make that time available to my kids so that they are able to spend the time working on their passion projects. Emma is working on some storyboard ideas. Jack is working on some Unreal Engine things, as well as some video editing. So I just want to make sure that I'm leaving enough space in our week for that. So we don't do as much. We're not going to do as much on Friday, on Fridays in general, but every other week, the Friday is going to be mainly the 3 R's as well as their passion projects, if that makes sense. If you have questions about that, certainly leave me a comment, or you can email me as well. Now, I do color code the kids. I've mentioned this many times. Just makes my life easier. I know when I'm looking at specific colors, because they've been the same colors for so long, it is what it is. It helps me. Emma finished reading Jane Eyre last week, and she's way ahead for that. So she does still have, I think, maybe a week or 2 weeks left of questions and discussion about Jane Eyre, as well as maybe some writing assignments about it. I need to look at that, but I'm just going to have her answer the questions today and the rest of the week, and then she will work on her personal reading for her reading. She has several books going at once. She always does. So language art, Jane Eyre questions. Jack and Emma are both starting a research project this week. Research project / paper, and that's going to go right until the end of this 6-week term. So they have 5 weeks to work on it, I think is what I have, until we have another week off. So I'm going to introduce that tomorrow to both of them. Did biology videos. Last week, she worked on reading through the entire module and answering the questions. And so this week she is going to finish up watching the biology videos, I think hopefully by tomorrow. And then we will do labs. There are 3 labs in this module, and I'm not sure if we will get through all 3 of them this week. We may only do 2 because, like I said, Friday is going to be a little bit of a lighter day. And one of the labs, actually, we have to prep some stuff ahead of time. So we may do 2 of the labs this week, and then the 3rd lab, which is actually the 2nd lab in the module that takes a little bit more prep time, we may end up starting next week. I'm trying to do about 2 to 3 weeks per module. I'm hoping that this gets into a better rhythm for her. I mentioned this again in, I think, my homeschool update video with the changes, or my homeschool resolutions video, that we did not get the Apologia Biology USB drive until right before we went on winter break. So she is now using that, and we're just trying to, she likes using that a lot more than just doing the reading and the questions and the labs on their own. She likes having that additional support through the USB drive. So I definitely recommend that. Let me show it to you. This is the thumb drive. It just comes in this little, well, it's plugged into the computer right now, but it's just video instruction thumb drive, and it just kind of goes over some of the main concepts. So if we can do the videos and the labs in the 2nd week, and then in the 3rd week, leftover labs, as well as filling out her study guide and then doing her test. So that's what I'm kind of hoping will happen. We are behind in biology right now, not significantly behind, but we are a little bit less than halfway done with the course. And so we'll probably be doing that a little bit later in the school year after we've finished our days. And that is just, it is what it is. I've got to accept that and move on. And then today we're not doing, all right, so I want to do constitutional literacy here. This, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to manage this because geography is like a full year course, and we ended up dropping geography after, like, we did a few lessons and then we had to stop because we were so busy with the back and forth in the fall with band. So I'm not sure that I'm going to complete geography this year, or if I'm just going to focus on constitutional literacy to finish that this year. I'm not entirely sure. That's kind of where we are at with that. But again, we are just making adjustments as we need to. Language arts, copywork, 1 week 20. Handwriting without tears, handwriting without tears, LA, copywork. I'm not gonna have her do copywork on Friday. She's reading Nate the Great. So I don't really plan out what we're doing for history, read aloud, and science. It's mainly just going to the next thing. I know which book we are in, and so that's kind of what I do. I just, like, for Story of the World, I just go to the next story. For School Story, I just read the next couple of chapters. We're currently reading through, I think, the Usborne Animals book that goes, it's like all the different countries and their animals that are specific to those areas. And so we just go to like a section, and then for the science, I will make a note of what we're actually working on, because this ends up working as part of my end of year assessment for Maine. We have to do like a teacher review, and so this helps me to make sure that I compile everything that I want for that teacher assessment. Yeah, so that, I think, is pretty much it. I only wrote research project here once. I will check in with both Emma and Jack on their research project as we're going throughout the week, but as of right now, I only need to really introduce it on the first day and then just kind of check in with them. I don't need to write it down because I just remember to do that. On this side, I have Jack. He is still working on Maine studies. Last week he was doing the Native Americans in Maine, the Wabanaki, and so I'm not sure what he's going to be working on this week. We are trying to make our way through our Maine studies workbook. I'm hoping, whoops, we're not doing that on Friday. I'm hoping that he can pick a project to do on Maine, but I think this week I want him to focus on the counties. That is the section that I want him to focus on this week. For his reading, he is reading books that he got for Christmas, and I said that that was fine. We've had a struggle year with me choosing books for him to read. He has read pretty much all of the books that I wanted him to read. There are a few left, and he is really not wanting to read them, and they are not necessarily books for Maine studies. I had chosen some books specifically for Maine studies, and then I had chosen some books specifically from level H language arts, because he's doing level H language arts this year from Sunlight, and he just has not been a fan of the books. And I have a really hard time forcing my kids to read books that they just despise, because there are so many good books available. So what he has been doing since we started school back last week is he chooses his book and then he just writes narration about it, what he's read about. And so he writes, a page of narration, and that is fine for me. I know that he is understanding the content, and I'm just hopeful that next year, which I think I'm going to have him do the level J language arts next year, that he will enjoy it and it won't be as much of a slog as it is this year. And actually, you will notice that I have not written down anything for Brave Writer. this week, and I didn't last week either, and it's mainly because in the fall, I had picked books for everybody to read for specific boomerangs and slingshots for Emma, and then arrows and boomerangs for Jack, and they did read the books, but we could not manage to get the actual guide into our days because we were so busy, and I have not figured out how to incorporate those in the spring semester yet. I don't know if I want to go back and go over the books that we've already read in the fall and do those guides even though we've already read the books, or if I want to just start fresh with a new book in February and do it that way. It's still up in the air. So we're just, we're going with it at the moment. Mechanics, he already did. My kids are actually almost done with school. We still are going to be doing our documentaries this afternoon, but yeah, I think that I'm retroactively planning some of the stuff for this week. Research project will be tomorrow that I will introduce that. And his science kit, which he's having a lot of fun with. Last week he was using batteries and steel wool, and it was like making little fires, and that was a lot of fun for him and Lucy to work on together. Lucy loves to sit in on Jack's experiments, and actually Emma does too. Science kit, I've already written down narration. Okay. So history and read alouds. So let's see. Today, MLK Junior videos, which we will do this afternoon. And then that is going to be it. 7 Habits. I'm still reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I definitely recommend it. I recommend it as a read aloud if you have younger teens, because there is a lot of discussion, a lot of topics that are brought up that I wouldn't necessarily just want my kid to go and read about on their own, unless I really had the faith that they were going to come back and discuss it with me. And, my kids probably would, but I think that it's really good content to sit and discuss with them. We've had a lot of really great conversation about the content in this book, so I definitely recommend it if you have upper middle school, high school kids. It's some good conversation that we've been having. So we are reading A History of Us, which I think it's book 8 right now that we are in, and it kind of aligns with The Men Who Built America History Channel mini-series, docu-series, I don't know what it's called, but I have been enjoying that. They have several. There's like The Men Who Built America, Food That Built America, The Games That Built America, The Cars That Built America, all of that stuff. So a lot of them are on Curiosity Stream, and some of them are like on Amazon streaming Prime, I think. Men Who Built America. So we will do that on Wednesday. Thursday is our screen-free day. Friday is projects, so I'm going to write passion projects here. They give me a representation of what they are doing for their passion projects, so that I know what they are working on. This is where I write Brave Writer stuff because I'm not doing Brave Writer this week. I do not have anything filled out, and this is for notes, or sometimes I will write down Lucy's stuff, checklist type things, like if I want to work on a calendar with her, or if we're working on specific whatever, that usually goes there. So this is pretty much my week for homeschool this week. It's not as busy as it normally is. And like I said, I will come back and write down what we are doing for constitutional literacy, for geography, what section we're reading in the animals book. That's just something that I do after the fact because it depends on the day and how much we are actually getting done. And then passion projects here. So this is the week of the 16th. Again, it is the 16th and I am just planning today. I still need to write out the kids' lists for the week. That helps them make progress more efficiently as they go throughout the week when I do write down their lists. I just use these little weekly schedule pads from Erin Condren. This one I use for Emma because it has more space, and then this one I use for Jack and Lucy because they don't need as much space, and I can write checklist things over here if I need to. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can always email me. My contact form is always in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.